This edition of Mac Voices is supported by Blue Apron, the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. Blue Apron delivers fantastic fresh ingredients right to your door, along with amazing recipes that you prepare at home, yourself, with your family. You just follow the step-by-step directions, and before you know it, you have Moroccan chicken, mushroom and barley miso ramen, or spinach risotto, ready to enjoy for dinner. Blue Apron sends you only what you need to make those dishes. No more, no less, so there is no running to the grocery store to get something you forgot or didn't realize you were out of, and there's no waste when you're finished. Blue Apron is also affordable, at less than $10 per meal per person. So while you're enjoying all these great meals, you're also saving money. And while you're saving money, you can feel good about how Blue Apron takes care of their food sources, partnering with 150 local farms, fisheries, and ranchers across the United States to deliver sustainably sourced seafood, responsibly raised beef, chicken, and pork, and regeneratively farmed produce. Best of all, you can give Blue Apron a try right now, for free, by visiting blueapron.com/MacVoices and signing up. Shipping is free, so there's nothing to hold you back. If you have dietary restrictions, Blue Apron can handle that too. So what you get is what you want. I want you to go to blueapron.com/MacVoices right now, sign up, and be fixing something amazing for dinner soon. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Thanks to Blue Apron for their support of Mac Voices. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we continue down the road to Macstock in July in Woodstock, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. We're talking with the speakers and presenters, and we've talked to the organizer, Mike Potter, and we may even have a few surprises along the way. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you will join us, but we'll talk more about that later. This time, we have a returning presenter to Macstock joining us, Mr. Tom Piper. Tom, it's great to have you. Thanks for being here.
Chuck, what a pleasure it is to be here again and to return to Macstock for the third year. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Mike's done a great job of bringing back some of the presenters, getting some new presenters, introducing some new ideas, retaining the best of the past. So Macstock is evolving, but I think in a very positive way.
Absolutely. It's getting more and more stable all along. It's nice to go back and see some faces I've seen the last couple of years, and some new faces, I think, as we're beginning to see it grow.
And that's one of the things, whenever we talk about this, I want to stress to people that, yes, there are a lot of us that know each other, and so it's a bit of a reunion for some of us, but you always meet new friends. That's just part of it. It's just like Macworld used to be, that, if you come to Macstock, you're walking into a room full of friends, some of which you just haven't met yet. So that should never keep anybody away.
That's very true.
So what is your topic this year? You've been bouncing around topics. What are you going to dazzle us with this year?
Well, last year I talked about user groups, and I still have a strong interest in that. But this year I'm talking about pages. And there are many different kinds of word processing tools out there. And I remember going all the way back to AppleWorks on the Apple II when it first came out, the 2 Plus, and watching it evolve. After AppleWorks, it became Pages and Pages 09, and now we have the newest Pages that works on everything from the Mac to the iPad to the iPhone. It's in the cloud. It's everywhere. And AppleWorks, I found, was a very robust product. And I was kind of disappointed when it was kind of converted into Pages and Numbers and Keynote, because there was no database. And but we found a way to work around that using Numbers or other alternatives like Bento, which now is past and gone as well. And now we have the new Pages, but each time it seemed like they trimmed it down, and for good reason. They wanted to make it compatible with every platform that Apple has out there, and it is. And now we have the ability to start a document on one platform and move it to another. I can start on the Mac and finish it on my iPad, for example. And what I'm going to be talking about, initially, I was going to show the old and the new side by side. And as Mike and I talked about it, we thought, well, we probably need to leave the past in the past with the old Pages and look at how Pages is developing into the future, because it has some new things that they didn't have before and some old things that many people don't even know about. And I'm a great believer in using the word processing part, but the part I like in particular is the page layout, because it is so versatile, and that's what I'll be doing an awful lot of focus on.
You stole one of my questions right out of the gate. I know what my answer is, but when someone asks you, is Pages a page layout program or a word processor, how do you view it?
Well, I view it as a very, very robust word processing program that has a lot of features that bring in page layout. Now, on the other hand, sometimes I find that I probably use the page layout portion 80% of the time, because it includes all the word processing stuff and much, much more. And the ability to do a lot of editing now that you couldn't do before, using things that strongly resemble the editing tools in Photos, or previously iPhotos. And I don't want to give away some of the things we're going to be talking about,
Sure.
but there's some really neat tools that I don't think people even appreciate.
I would agree with you on that. I think that Keynote obviously gets a lot of talk because that's sort of the flashy stuff. But I feel like Pages and Numbers to a different degree have both been just so underappreciated.
Yes.
And the stuff you can do with Pages, and there's another part to Pages that I think should not be overlooked. If you go to the Mac App Store and spend just a little money, or if you wait for the specials, it's even better. You can download a whole pile of templates for Pages and then go in and modify them. So if you're not a creative person right up front, you can go in and modify those and make them your own. But in the process, you're going to learn so much about Pages because you're going to see how professionals put some of this stuff together, and then you will be even farther ahead of the game. And I don't see that with, well, I mean, let's face it, Pages is pretty affordable. Free.
Right. Yes.
And you can't say that about some of the other page layout programs out there.
No, and I've used WordPerfect and Word and a variety of others, and over the years, but I keep coming back to Pages because, one, it's basic. It's something I can easily teach other people, and with the amount of work that I do with my the amount of work I do with user groups and trying to teach other people how to use these kinds of tools to produce products that other people will find enjoyable. Now, whether it's a certificate or a newsletter or a simple letter or a poster or any variety of things like that, these are tools that are pretty easy to use. Now, I will admit to you that I kind of regret having to give up part of the real estate on my screen because of the toolbar now not being a drop-down menu, but being something that takes up the right-hand side of the screen. That's something that I recommend that Apple modify, but I use multiple screens, so that's a workaround for me. I actually use an iPad as a second part of my desktop. And so I can lay some of those tools over on the side.
Yeah, that's a great little tip there. Yeah.
Those are things that work well. And of course, you have things like Duet, which are very, very helpful in doing multiple screens. So I can even use my iMac as a second screen.
Right. Tom, I know you were saying about working with user groups. but for you, what kind of things do you use Pages to produce? I mean, letters, or do you have personal documents that fall in that category?
Well, from the standpoint of user groups, my presentation every month is made in Pages. And I actually use a PDF file as an output device so I can do a simple slideshow, simple and straightforward and very quickly, doing multiple pages in Pages or multiple layouts. And in my professional work that I help to develop long-term care facilities, I do maps, I do 50 and 60 page documents using everything from JPEGs to PDFs to spreadsheets and everything that can be easily pulled in and laid out in Pages. And I do a variety of presentations for my wife for her work. She works in a school district here locally. And we do big posters and we do small layouts and handouts and all sorts of things like that. So it's just a wide variety of electronic and paper products.
You threw me a curveball there when you were talking about doing your user group presentations in Pages and then using that as a slideshow. Is there a particular reason that you prefer that approach to developing in Keynote as a dedicated presentation program?
It's probably the versatility of the layout program that I like so much, and the ability to do very, how do I want to say, sometimes I have JPEGs that extend beyond the size of the page, and it's something that I can actually stretch and let it flow outside of the active area. And that doesn't work well at all in Keynote or in PowerPoint. But in Pages, it just works delightfully. And almost, I don't even have to think about it. It's an amazing thing. When I go back and use some of those other tools that don't allow me to do that kind of overlap into Neverland, and I just say, oh, yeah, I know why I'm working in Pages.
I've got to go and try that, because that's not a design element I typically use, so I'm not familiar with how it would work. But now I've got to go back and try it. So, great, Tom. You gave me homework. Thanks a lot.
Think of it as a new tool.
Yes, yeah, an opportunity, right?
An opportunity. That's right. Not an obligation.
Yeah. This is a little bit off subject, but I also am intrigued by your comment about losing the database from AppleWorks. There was a time that a lot of us spent a lot of time and effort working in databases because they seem to be the answer to everything, and then they sort of faded away from the public consciousness. And yet, yes, databases are laying under so many things. They lay under Final Cut Pro. They lay under numbers, like you said. You use numbers. We've moved into this area of, I guess, very specialized databases that are put together by developers instead of you and me trying to hack them together from the tools that we had in FileMaker and and AppleWorks and programs like that.
I'm still a FileMaker user, and I try to keep up on the most recent ones, but less and less frequently all the time. It just it seems so much easier to turn to a spreadsheet like Numbers, which I can pick up and drop into Pages at will, resize it, customize it, lay it out, and do layering. Layering is something that I have long enjoyed being able to do, where you can layer text squares or pages, if you will, and spreadsheets and graphics and photos, and it goes on and on with the ends. And the various things that you can juxtaposition together. That's an interesting word, juxtaposition. One that I don't get to use every day.
Yeah, your point's well taken. And to sort of bring it then back to this subject, you can take and embed Numbers spreadsheets in Pages a lot easier than you could ever embed a database of any kind. So it just I find it interesting that a tool we all thought was so important and was one of the things that got a lot of the personal computer industry off the ground, just slowly faded away in favor of more specialized tools.
Well, I find that there are simple tools that you can use, like alpha to make areas of something disappear, or shadowing to emphasize, or even the fade framing that allows you to dissolve the edge of a document, a JPEG or text document or whatever, to be able to emphasize parts of your overall composition. And composition is, to me, what it's all about. And whether it's a simple text document or a very complex newsletter or a poster or some of the multi-page documents I put together, that composition and the ability to nudge things back and forth is really great. And I must say, I now have the new MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar, and Pages have been taking advantage of that. It's very nice to be able to just come up and slide some things back and forth, whether it's density of something where you're seeing through from one layer to another, or to just position, say, things side by side.
I think this is a great presentation to give at Macstock because, again, I'm with you. I think Pages is underappreciated. Some of the features you just mentioned there, I know are underappreciated because you show somebody how to use them, and they say, well, that's so easy. It's like, yeah, it is, and they didn't even know it was there. And then now you see that particular feature being used in their documents all the time. And the other thing about Pages, sort of like Keynote, they don't have that Microsoft Word look. There's,
right.
I still haven't exactly identified what I mean by that, but there's no doubt in my mind when you see certain documents come across your desk or through email in PDF form, that was done on Word, or that was done in PowerPoint. It has that look, and so when you use something like Pages or Keynote, you distinguish yourself because you don't look like the other people. And that automatically gets you more attention. So,
yeah, one of the things I like about the new Keynote is the ability to add motion. And that's something that you really can't do in Pages. It's kind of an amplification, but they're first cousins to each other, and what you'll learn in one most often works in the other. It is but there's things that people don't realize you can do, like dropping a photo into a shape, and then being able to manipulate that shape in a variety of different ways. And people going, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I'll be teaching.
Ah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, you brought up another point about Pages and about the whole productivity suite of Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. Once you learn certain metaphors in one, they transfer across.
Yes.
Unlike some other office suites, where you have different ways of accomplishing different things. If you find out how to do some of that in one, the odds are it's going to be pretty similar, if not exactly the same, in the other. Now, we're talking about very different kinds of things: Pages, Keynote, Numbers. But so much of the formatting and different things are across the board the same. So when you start to learn one, you're going to start to learn them all.
Very much so. Very much so. That's part of the power of Apple.
Yes.
And the integration. And, some of the new tools that they're being able to provide, I was looking at the second screen, is the ability to have multiple people working on a single document. And, that's a fairly new tool. And they say, well, for me, I don't really have anyone else that works on my documents, but I know that in many work environments where multiple people have input into a single document, they can be very valuable. And being able to use iCloud and exchange things through iCloud is really cool.
Yeah. When somebody hears you say, oh, I'm going to show Pages, oh, isn't that word processor layout thing? Okay, fine. But when you start to take just a little bit of time, it's like, yeah, there are a lot of cool things you can do with it. And folks, I bet you don't know a lot of them too. and Tom's going to teach you a few of them. He's probably not going to show you. You're not going to show him all your tricks, Tom, but you're going to show him some.
Oh, not nearly enough time. I only have 20 minutes.
I know. So you gotta pound it out, man.
That's right.
Well, I think it's a great topic. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again at Macstock. I know we're saying this all the time. We want people to come and see your presentation, my presentation, all these great presentations, have a lot of fun. Things are going to be a little bit different, I hear, this year. Barry Falk's going to be on a little later to tell us about what he has cooked up as an alternative to the Midwest Mac barbecue, and I know he's got something going.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, with Barry, it's a little scary, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Tom, when you're not here presenting, where can folks find you and follow you? Well,
MacQuest at mac.com is my email address, or just MacQuest.com. MacQuest.
Great. And we also, I don't want to get away without mentioning that you're president of the Applejac user group.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, we meet every month and have for 33 years now. And I'm a great believer in user groups. They're changing, evolving, but they still have great value. And in many ways, that's what Macstock is a national, or I guess international, considering we have a number of people from overseas who are coming. But it too is a user group. And that, that's what it's not just about technology. It's about networking, about friendships, about relationships, about exchanging information, and making our tools benefit us and using our tools to gain new friendships. And you've been a long-time friend, and I appreciate what you're doing here, Chuck, and I'm looking forward to your presentation again this year.
Well, you never know what I'm going to come up with. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're serious, but that was one of the things last year. You could leave the room if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. Even the presentations that didn't apply to me, I found absolutely fascinating, and I wanted to hear them. So, I think we all tend to stay glued in our seats. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I found myself spending some money afterwards in photography and other things because of those presentations, because there were valuable new accessories or tools to make my current investment even more beneficial.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, I spent some money too because of Macstock. And especially that Wally Cherwinski guy. Darn him. He always has the best tools.
I know. Yes.
Or toys. I'm not sure which. Well, I will see you in Woodstock in July.
I'm looking forward to it. And Chuck, thank you so much. And many blessings to you.
Thank you, Tom. Always good to see you. Take care.
Take care.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. The road to Macstock will lead you to Woodstock, Illinois in July. We hope you'll join us. It's very affordable, and it's a whole lot of fun. A full weekend of Mac, Apple, iOS stuff. You can't go wrong. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com, bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.